Hi, this is a video to help you understand the elements of language and dyslexia. It's an awareness video presented by the Dyslexia Resource. Language is the way we communicate with each other. We do this through talking, but we also do it through writing. And we think about language in what we take in or what we receive, but also the language we use to express those thoughts and ideas. So when looking at these four elements of language, we can think about one mode of language, which could be oral language, the language that we speak and that we hear. It's the earliest developed in our children, and it's essential to be in place before literacy can be taught. It's often more informal than the other mode of language, which is written language, which uses the sound-symbol relationship and records our thoughts and ideas. It's typically, but not always, more academic in nature and requires the knowledge of grammar and sentence structure. We can think about the two types of language as well. The first being our receptive language, the language that we take in by what we hear and what we see. This is how we get meaning in our everyday world. On the flip side, we have expressive language, and that's the language that we use. It's what we say and what we write. And we use this language to convey ideas and thoughts. It's important to understand these different types of language because when the brain learns to read, it has to interpret language differently. When it receives language, it not only hears it, but now it sees language. And when it uses language to express itself, it's done through speaking, but now also through the printed word. Since dyslexia is a language-based learning disability, we see a cluster of symptoms or challenges around these language skills. And it often occurs along a continuum, where one child might be impacted by one element of language, but another is impacted by all four. So when we look at those elements of language and think about how they can be affected by dyslexia, we might see a child that's impacted in the listening or has trouble with phonemic awareness. Another child may also be, or individually be, impacted in the area of speaking or retrieving the right word at the right time. Reading can be impacted. Breaking that code is so difficult for the dyslexic, as is writing and spelling. So as we think about the dyslexic continuum, we see a range of symptoms, and as those symptoms increase, we see an increase in the level of the impact it has on a child in the classroom. A child with few symptoms might be more of mild impact in the classroom, all the way up to a child that has more symptoms, more impacted elements of language that has a larger impact on their learning. In summary, language in all of its forms is our tool for communication. Dyslexia is a language-based learning disability, and language is the necessary tool for learning. The more a student encounters challenges with the elements of language, the more of an impact it will have on his or her academic performance. Thank you so much for watching. The mission of the Dyslexia Resource is to empower communities to serve dyslexic learners.